بسم الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Assalamu alaikum, brother and sister. For your health, please recite salawat. اللهم صل على محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم صاد. كتاب أنزل إليك فلا يكن في صدرك حرج منه لتنذر به وذكرى للمؤمنين. اتبعوا ما أنزل إليكم من ربكم ولا تتبعوا من دونه أولياء قليلا ما تذكرون. وكم من قرية أهلكناها فجاءها بأسنا بياتا أو هم قائلون فما كان دعواهم إذ جاءهم بأسنا إلا أن قالوا إنا كنا ظالمين. فلنسألن الذين أرسل إليهم ولنسألن المرسلين فلنقصن عليهم بعلم وما كنا غائبين. والوزن يومئذ الحق فمن ثقلت موازينه فأولئك هم المفلحون ومن خفت موازينه فأولئك الذين خسروا أنفسهم بما كانوا بآياتنا يظلمون. ولقد مكناكم في الأرض وجعلنا لكم فيها معايش قليلا ما تشكرون. ولقد خلقناكم ثم صورناكم ثم قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس لم يكن من الساجدين. قال ما منعك ألا تسجد إذ أمرتك؟ قال أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. قال فاهبط منها فما يكون لك أن تتكبر فيها فاخرج إنك من الصاغرين. قال انظرني إلى يوم يبعثون. قال إنك من المنظرين. قال فبما أغويتني لأقعدن لهم صراطك المستقيم ثم لآتينهم من بين أيديهم ومن خلفهم وعن أيمانهم وعن شمائلهم ولا تجد أكثرهم شاكرين. قال اخرج منها مذموما مدحورا لمن تبعك منهم لأملأن جهنم منكم أجمعين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
آل محمد.
أحسنت.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا دائم الفضل على البرية، يا باسط اليدين بالعطية، يا صاحب المواهب السنية، صل على محمد وآله خير الورى سجية، واغفر لنا يا ذا العلا في هذه العشية. يا دائم الفضل على البرية، يا باسط اليدين بالعطية، يا صاحب المواهب السنية، صل على محمد وآله خير الورى سجية، واغفر لنا يا ذا العلا في هذه العشية. يا دائم الفضل على البرية، يا باسط اليدين بالعطية، يا صاحب المواهب السنية، صل على محمد وآله خير الورى سجية، واغفر لنا يا ذا العلا في هذه العشية. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء، وبقوتك التي قهرت بها كل شيء، وخضع لها كل شيء، وذل لها كل شيء، وبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء، وبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء، وبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء، وبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء، وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء، وبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء، وبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء، وبنور وجهك الذي أضاء له كل شيء، وبنور وجه وبيا نور يا قدوس، يا نور يا قدوس، يا نور يا قدوس، يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تهتك العصم، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النقم، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء، اللهم اغفر لي كل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك بذكرك، وأستشفع بك إلى نفسك، وأسألك بجودك أن تدنيني من قربك، وأن توزعني شكرك، وأن تلهمني ذكرك. اللهم إني أسألك سؤال خاضع متذلل خاشع، أن تسامحني وترحمني وتجعلني بقسمك راضيا قانعا، وفي جميع الأحوال متواضعا. اللهم وأسألك سؤال من اشتدت فاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته، وعظم فيما عندك رغبته. اللهم عظم سلطانك وعلى مكانك، وخفي مكرك، وظهر أمرك، وغلب قهرك، وجرت قدرتك، ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك. اللهم لا أجد لذنوبي غافرا، ولا لقبائحي ساترا، ولا لشيء من عملي القبيح بالحسن مبدلا غيرك. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك. ظلمت نفسي، ظلمت نفسي، ظلمت نفسي، وتجرأت بجهلي، وسكنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي ومنك علي. اللهم مولاي كم من قبيح سترته، وكم من فادح من البلاء أقلته، وكم من عثار وقيته، وكم من مكروه دفعته، وكم من ثناء جميل لست أهلا له نشرته. اللهم عظم بلائي، وأفرط بي سوء حالي، وقصرت بي أعمالي، وقعدت بي أغلالي، وحبسني عن نفعي بعد آمالي، وخدعتني الدنيا بغرورها، ونفسي بخيانتها، ومطالي يا سيدي. فأسألك بعزتك ألا يحجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي، ولا تفضحني بخفي ما اطلعت عليه من سري، ولا تعاجلني بالعقوبة على ما عملته في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وإساءتي، ودوام تفريطي وجهالتي، وكثرة شهواتي وغفلتي. وكن اللهم بعزتك لي في الأحوال كلها رؤوفا، وعلي في جميع الأمور عطوفا. إلهي وربي، من لي غيرك أسأله كشف ضري والنظر في أمري. إلهي ومولاي، أجريت علي حكما اتبعت فيه هوى نفسي، ولم أحترس فيه من تزيين عدوي، فغرني بما أهوى، وأسعده على ذلك القضاء، فتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعض حدودك، وخالفت بعض أوامرك، فلك الحجة علي في جميع ذلك، ولا حجة لي فيما جرى علي فيه قضاؤك، وألزمني حكمك وبلاؤك. وقد أتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي
معتذرا نادما منكسرا مستقيلا مستغفرا منيبا مقرا مذعنا معترفا لا أجد مفرا مما كان مني ولا مفزعا أتوجه إليه في أمري غير قبولك عذري وإدخالك إياي في سعة من رحمتك اللهم فاقبل عذري وارحم شدة ضري وفكني من شد وثاقي يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني ورقة جلدي ودقة عظمي يا من بدأ خلقي وذكري وتربيتي وبري وتغذيتي هبني لابتداء كرمك وسالفي بالركاب يا إلهي وسيدي وربي أتراك معذبي بنارك بعد توحيدك وبعد من طوى عليه قلبي من معرفتك ولهج به لساني من ذكرك واعتقده ضميري من حبك وبعد صدق اعترافي ودعائي خاضعا لربوبيتك هيهات أنت أكرم من أن تضيع من ربيته أو تبعد من أدنيته أو تشرد من آويته أو تسلم إلى البلاء من كفيته ورحمته وليت شعري يا سيدي وإلهي ومولاي أتسلط النار على وجوه خرت لعظمتك ساجدة وعلى ألسن نطقت بتوحيدك صادقة وبشكرك مادحة وعلى قلوب اعترفت بإلهيتك محققة وعلى ضمائر حوت من العلم بك حتى صارت خاشعة وعلى جوارح سعت إلى أوطان تعبدك طائعة وأشارت باستغفارك مذعنة ما هكذا الظن بك ولا أخبرنا بفضلك عنك يا كريم يا رب يا كريم يا رب يا كريم يا رب وأنت تعلم ضعفي عن قليل من بلاء الدنيا وعقوباتها وأنت تعلم ضعفي عن قليل من بلاء الدنيا وعقوباتها وما يجري فيها من المكاره على أهلها على أن ذلك بلاء ومكروه قليل مكثه يسير بقاؤه قصير مدته فكيف احتمالي لبلاء الآخرة وجليل وقوع المكاره فيها وهو بلاء تطول مدته ويدوم مقامه ولا يخفف عن أهله لأنه لا يكون إلا عن غضبك وانتقامك وسخطك وهذا ما لا تقوم له السماوات والأرض. يا سيدي، فكيف بي وأنا عبدك الضعيف الذليل الحقير المسكين المستكين؟ يا إلهي وربي وسيدي ومولاي، لأي الأمور إليك أشكو، ولما منها أضج وأبكي؟ لأليم العذاب وشدته أم لطول البلاء ومدته؟ فلأن صيرتني للعقوبات مع أعدائك، وجمعت بيني وبين أهل بلائك، وفرقت بيني وبين أحبائك وأوليائك، فهبني يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي وربي. صبرت على عذابك، فكيف أصبر على فراقك؟ وهبني صبرت على حر نارك، فكيف أصبر عن النظر إلى كرامتك؟ أم كيف أسكن في النار ورجائي عفوك؟ فبعزتك يا سيدي ومولاي أقسم صادقا، لأن تركتني ناطقا لأضجن إليك بين أهلها ضجيج الآمنين، ولأصرخن إليك صراخ المستصرخين، ولأبكين عليك بكاء الفاقدين، ولأنادينك أين كنت يا ولي المؤمنين، يا غاية آمال العارفين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا حبيب قلوب الصادقين، ويا إله العالمين. أفتراك سبحانك يا إلهي وبحمدك تسمع فيها صوت عبد مسلم سجن فيها بمخالفته، وذاق طعم عذابها بمعصيته، وحبس بين أطباقها بجرمه وجريرته، وهو يضج إليك ضجيج مؤمل لرحمتك، ويناديك بلسان أهل توحيدك، ويتوسل إليك بربوبيتك. يا مولاي، فكيف يبقى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمك؟ أم كيف تؤلمه النار وهو يأمل فضلك ورحمتك؟ أم كيف يحرقه لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوته وترى مكانه؟ أم كيف يشتمل عليه زفيرها وأنت تعلم ضعفه؟ أم كيف يتغلغل بين أطباقها وأنت تعلم صدقه؟ أم كيف تزجره زبانيتها وهو يناديك يا رباه؟ أم كيف يرجو فضلك في عتقه منها فتتركه فيها؟ هيهات، ما ذلك الظن بك، ولا المعروف من فضلك، ولا مشبه لما عاملت به الموحدين من برك وإحسانك. فباليقين أقطع، لولا ما حكمت به من تعذيب جاحديك، وقضيت به من إخلاد معانديك، لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما، وما كانت لأحد فيها مقرا ولا مقاما، لكنك تقدست أسماؤك أقسمت أن تملأها من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين، وأن تخلد فيها المعاندين، وأن تجل ثناؤك قلت مبتدئا، وتطولت بالإنعام متكرما، أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون. إلهي وسيدي، فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها، وبالقضية التي حتمتها وحكمتها، وغلبت من عليه أجريتها، أن تهب لي في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمته، وكل ذنب أذنبته، وكل قبيح أسررته، وكل جهل عملته، كتمته أو أعلنته، أخفيته أو أظهرته، وكل سيئة أمرت بإثباتها الكرام الكاتبين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني، وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جوارحي، وكنت أنت الرقيب علي من ورائهم، والشاهد لما خفي عنهم، وبرحمتك أخفيته، وبفضلك سترته، وأن توفر حظي من كل خير تنزله، أو إحسان تفضله، أو بر تنشره، أو رزق تبسطه، أو ذنب تغفره، أو خطأ تستره، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي ومالك رقي، يا من بيده ناصيتي، يا عليما بضري ومسكنتي، يا خبيرا بفقري وفاقتي، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، أسألك بحقك وقدسك وأعظم صفاتك وأسمائك أن تجعل أوقاتي في الليل والنهار بذكرك معمورة، وبخدمتك موصولة، وأعمالي عندك مقبولة، حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي كلها وردا واحدا، حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي كلها وردا واحدا، وحالي في خدمتك سرمدا، يا سيدي يا من عليه معولي، يا من إليه شكوت أحوالي، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، قو على خدمتك جوارحي، واشدد على العزيمة جوانحي، وهب لي الجد في خشيتك، والدوام في الاتصال بخدمتك، حتى أسرح إليك في ميادين السابقين، وأسرع إليك في المبادرين، وأشتاق إلى قربك في المشتاقين، وأدنو منك دنو المخلصين، وأخافك مخافة الموقنين، وأجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين. اللهم ومن أرادني بسوء فأرد، ومن كادني فكد، واجعلني من أحسن عبيدك نصيبا عندك، وأقربهم منزلة منك، وأخصهم زلفة لديك، فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك. وجد لي بجودك، واعطف علي بمجدك، واحفظني برحمتك، واجعل لساني بذكرك لهجا، وقلبي بحبك متيما، ومن علي بحسن إجابتك، وأقلني عثرتي، واغفر زلتي، فإنك قضيت على عبادك بعبادتك، وأمرتهم بدعائك، وضمنت لهم الإجابة. فإليك يا رب نصبت وجهي، وإليك يا ربي مددت يدي، فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي، وبلغني مناي، ولا تقطع من فضلك رجائي، واكفني شر الجن والإنس من أعدائي. يا سريع الرضا، يا سريع الرضا، يا سريع الرضا، اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء، فإنك فعال لما تشاء، يا من اسمه دواء، وذكره شفاء، وطاعته غنى. ارحم من رأس ماله الرجاء، وسلاحه البكاء، يا سابغ النعم، يا دافع النقم، يا نور المستوحشين في الظلم، يا عالما لا يعلم. صل على محمد وآل محمد، وافعل بما أنت أهله، وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله، وسلم تسليما كثيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
جزاك الله brother Ismail.
جزاك الله خير.
We have Shaykh Amin on now. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Do you have me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. And is my voice good?
It's good. The background is looking good as well.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. الخطبة 20. فإنكم لو قد عاينتم ما قد عاين من مات منكم لجزعتم ووهلتم وسمعتم وأطعتم، ولكن محجوب عنكم ما قد عاينوا، وقريب ما يطرح الحجاب. In this khutbah, this 20th khutbah of Nahjul Balagha, it is said that the Imam said these words on the first Jum'ah after the Bay'ah took place, and the people pledged their allegiance to Imam Ali alayhi salam. So I want you to put yourself in that context, and see yourself in, the Imam is, everyone is excited that now, okay, this person has become our Khalifa, this person has become our Imam, and so everyone is looking forward to what he can bring to the table for them. And so they say that this parts of this khutbah, if not all of it, is in Usul al-Kafi as well. I think a part of it is there. And over there, the context that is given is that the Imam, he was speaking to the people and telling them that they should not betray those who are on top of them when it comes to authority, those who have authority over them. And that they should keep the unity and not cause division amongst the Muslims. So that was what the Imam is speaking about to them. And then he says these lines. If you notice, it begins with fa. Fa in Arabic, it comes in the beginning of a sentence that is usually the result of the previous sentences. So here, the khutbah begins with فَإِنَّكُمْ لَوْ عَيَنْتُمْ. Khutbah number 20, when you look at it, it begins with so and goes on. It shows that there was something that was said before this that has not been mentioned in Nahjul Balagha. Yeah? But in other books it's there. And so Usul al-Kafi, for example, is telling us that this is what was said. Okay. The Imam is speaking about how people have to help out, have to keep the unity and not divide. Now, having said that, giving it that context, let's look at what the Imam is saying here. He says to them, he wants to really get them to listen to what he's saying. He wants to make sure that there's a guarantee that they're going to live up to his expectations. So he reminds them of certain things. He says, فَإِنَّكُمْ, because, listen to me, yes, and live up to my expectation of you. Because فَإِنَّكُمْ لَوْ قَدْ عَيَنْتُمْ, if you were to see that which those who died before you have seen. So he takes the conversation to the akhirah. He takes the conversation to post-death. Yeah? He says, the people who've died before you, if you were to see what they've seen, لَجَزِعْتُمْ وَوَهِلْتُمْ, you would be horrified and you would be screaming. Yes. وَسَمِعْتُمْ وَأَطَعْتُمْ, and you would listen and take heed and obey and live up to those commands that you have now. So look at this, right from the beginning, the Imam is speaking in a kind of, I would say, let's say, harsh tone here. That, because he probably knows what these people are going to be like, some of them. So right there from the get-go, he's setting the record straight. He says, look, people, you better listen, or else if you could see what those who've died before you see, you would be screaming and yelling. Now here, you hear this from Imam Ali, right? And a person who hears this might kind of feel a little worried and lose hope. Oh my God, is it that horrible? Is it that scary? Yes? That's the question. Is it that scary? Look what the Imam is saying. If you were only to see what's going to happen, just like those who died before you saw, you'll be terrified. But look, there's a condition and stipulation here, brothers and sisters, we have to keep in mind. He says, وَسَمِعْتُمْ وَأَطَعْتُمْ, you would scream, you would be terrified. As a result, you would be obedient and you would listen to what is being told to you and what the orders are. In other words, the reason why people will be terrified upon death and might scream and wail as a result of death is because they didn't listen and they didn't obey. He says, if you were to see, then you would obey. In other words, the problem with you is that you didn't obey. You weren't obeying. Those who died before you, they had trouble because they weren't obedient. And since you will know that that is what is going to save you, obedience, listening and being obedient, once you see what they saw, you'll be obedient. You see, brothers and sisters, the Imam indirectly is saying, if a person wants to be safe from all of this trouble, it's very easy. Have obedience and listen to God. Listen to the commands of those you have to listen to. Right? These people, when they die, why is it that they'll be terrified and horrified? Why? What's wrong? Well, two things, two main reasons. Number one is that they see the outcome of their actions, what their actions amounted to, what they translated to in the akhirah, number one. And number two, they'll be very regretful that, oh my God, look at how much one salawat was worth, for example. Look at how much one sadaqah was worth. Look at how much me helping this person and that person out in the pandemic was worth, for example. All of these things will be in that person's face, and they'll see it. They'll want to do it. They can't, because it's too late now. They've been cut off from the dunya. The place for this is dunya. You left the dunya. Too late. You knew, but you hadn't seen yet that it's coming, and so you were lazy. وَلَكِنْ مَحْجُوبٌ عَنْكُمْ مَا قَدْ عَايَنُوا. But there's a difference, he says. He says, look, if you were to see what they saw, you would also be obedient. But what they see and what they have seen, those who died before you, is veiled from you. You can't see. You can't see it. مَحْجُوبٌ عَنْكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hidden it from you and concealed it. But don't worry. If you're very excited to see what they saw, قَرِيبٌ مَا يُطْرَحُ الْحِجَابِ. Don't worry, this veil will also be lifted from you as well when death arrives. In other words, it is close. What is close? The veil is being lifted. Well, why is it close that the veils are going to be lifted? Because death is close. So the Imam indirectly here is saying, don't worry, death isn't too far away from you. Anything that is going to eventually arrive is close. It's not far. 30 years pass in a person's life, they feel like it was a blink of an eye. Why? Was 30 years not really 30 years? It was really 30 years. But it arrived. It eventually came, the 30-year mark. And since it came, all of the previous 30 years, a person feels like never even took place. Yeah. So here the Imam says, this is something that is hidden from you, what they saw. So the question begs to be answered now. Well, why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hidden from us that which those who die can see? That's a question. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us to be obedient, wants us to be obedient servants, that's his goal in creating us. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. If that's what he wants, and he can get it through this means of showing us what it looks like on the other side, why doesn't he do so? Show us what's going on the other side. And then everyone will be obedient. So it kind of defeats the purpose to not show us what the dead are seeing. I think the answer is pretty clear, brothers and sisters. Number one is that when Allah shows us certain things that are extraordinary, yes, when he shows us the metaphysical, there is a much higher expectation now of us to do what we're supposed to do. Allah is cutting us slack by not showing us everything. If he was to show us everything, if we make the slightest mistake after that, we are going to be punished on the spot, they say. Okay? We have to understand that. With more knowledge comes more accountability. Allah gives us knowledge of what those who die see. Then you better be good, right? There's a verse in the Quran, it says, وَلَوْ أَنزَلْنَا مَلَكًا لَقُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ ثُمَّ لَا يُنظَرُونَ. That if we were to send an angel down upon you, O people who are asking for it, لَقُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ. Things would end on the spot and you wouldn't be given any respite. No opportunity to do anything after that. Why? Because you're messing up. If you see everything, accountability is going to shoot up. And the slightest mistake will get you in trouble. So number one, accountability will multiply exponentially. Number two is that when a person sees what's going on the other side, what happens is that their faith will no longer be of any value. Yes, Fir'aun, for example, what did he do? What Fir'aun did, give me 1 second. If we can mute the other participants, because I can hear their voice, their sound. Yes, so Fir'aun, what he did was that he, unfortunately, he embraced the faith in the last moments that he could, after the veils had been lifted, probably after he knew it's all over, after he was drowning. He says, I believe in the Lord of Musa. The Quran says, Al-an, right? Is now the time for you to do tawbah and to embrace the faith? Your timing is off, buddy. There's a specific time. That's the whole test. There's a specific time frame in which you have to embrace the faith. If you don't embrace it after that, until after that frame has passed, then it's no good. And so this is also one of the reasons. Now here, it's interesting. We have hadith. The Holy Prophet, he says that I used to take my sheep and my goats, whatever it was, I would take them out to graze before I was prophet even. And every now and then I would see that they jump. For some reason, they just jump in the air as if they've been frightened of something. But nothing had happened. He says, when I became prophet, Jibreel told me, he said, look, these animals that get frightened all of a sudden, it's because they see or hear what is happening to those in the graves, that the sound reaches them. They're in some far off desert, but the sound reaches them. Yes? And they're terrified. But this sound has been made hidden from the ears of mankind and the jinn. They can't hear. So there, the same question begs to be answered. Why? I think the answer is pretty clear. Because then it will no longer be a test for anyone. Think about it. If you hear torment and torture and chastisement, right, happening, and you know that's going to happen to you, of course you're going to be a good person. That defeats the purpose. So yes, Allah did have the goal in mind of us being better people. He did have the goal in mind of us to be obedient servants of His. But He wanted that with our free will. If He exposes too much, yes, it's like putting a gun to someone's head and saying, hey, be obedient and don't do something wrong. Well, that's not going to have any value, brothers and sisters, when someone puts a gun to our head. And that's why in Islam, if we're forced to do something wrong, we won't be held accountable. If someone puts a gun to our head and tells us to eat pork, for example, right? We won't be held accountable for that because we have to preserve our life. We had no choice. So that free will is gone over there in that situation. That free will meaning, the equal opportunity to make a decision between yes and no, doing it and not doing it. When you have a gun at your head, you have to choose something that will keep you alive. Anyway, when you show the people the chastisement they're going to go through, of course they're not going to be bad people anymore. It defeats the purpose. That's the whole test. For Allah to tell us as God speaks to us as God and tells us what's coming, but doesn't show us. So we know it's coming. Now who is going to exercise their willpower the way they're supposed to? That's the test right there. قَرِيبٌ مَا يُطْرَقَ الْحِجَابِ. The Imam says it'll be very close. Don't worry. You're not seeing it now, but don't worry, it's coming. وَلَقَدْ بُصِّرْتُمْ إِنْ أَبْصَرْتُمْ وَأُسْمِعْتُمْ إِنْ سَمِعْتُمْ وَهُدِيتُمْ إِنْ اهْتَدَيْتُمْ. The Imam makes another point here now. He says, look, why it's as if he's saying, like, why do you want to see things? Why do you want to see certain things? Why do you want to see necessarily those things that those who have died before you have seen and experienced to be good people? Is that what you need to be good people? No. What needs to have said has been said, what needs to be have shown, what has been, what needed to be shown to you has been shown to you. And if you are willing to be guided, that which is to guide you is out there. لَقَدْ بُصِّرْتُمْ إِنْ أَبْصَرْتُمْ. You will be shown that which you need to be shown if you open up your eyes. So for example, we have a hadith or verses of the Quran even. We'll get to later actually. Let me leave it for later. If you open up your eyes, you will be shown those things that you need to be shown that will give you lesson, that will show you what is to come later. Not the chastisement and torment, but will show you that death is coming. Yes, we'll get to those verses and hadiths later. أُسْمِعْتُمْ إِنْ سَمِعْتُمْ. So sometimes you have to see things. You have to see those who came before you. Where did they end up? Where did Saddam Hussein end up? Where did what was that dictator of Egypt? I forgot his name. Hosni Mubarak end up? Where did all of these people end up? Yeah, where did these great Zalimeen end up eventually? Where did Fir'aun end up? All of these things. Who knows where Yazid is buried today? Who cares where Yazid is buried today? Does anyone even care where Yazid is? No, right? So these are all the signs that you see, yet you're still arrogant yourselves. Open up your eyes, you'll see these signs, and that's enough for you to have conviction in what is to come. وَأُسْمِعْتُمْ إِنْ سَمِعْتُمْ. All that which needed to be said to you has been said to you. A prophet came with the Quran. Imams came. Everyone's telling you what you need to hear. Yes? So you need to open up your ears. You will hear. You will be, things that you're supposed to hear will be shown to you, so you hear them. وَهُدِيتُمْ إِنِ اهْتَدَيْتُمْ. Allah has given you an intellect, a mind. All you need to do is think. Add things up to in your mind, and you will come to the conclusion. Where did I come from? Where am I headed? Is it all a coincidence, an accident? Or is there something else in it? What's going on? All these things, these are questions that a person will ask themselves. And so their mind will get to work. Their intellect will tell them there is something going on. There must be a God out there. And this person will dig deeper and deeper until they come to a conclusion regarding God. And then they will obey him once they arrive at the conclusion that he's there. All these things, Allah has given us what it takes. Yes, all we need to do is put those to work. وَبِحَقٍّ أَقُولُ لَكُمْ. So he says these three things because either guidance comes through, our senses and seeing things and experiencing things, or hearing them. So either we see those things that are visible signs of God, or we hear that which are the do's and don'ts, or we hear logic from the prophets, or we use our own intellects. All of these, the Imam concludes when he mentions these three things. He says, بِحَقٍّ أَقُولُ لَكُمْ. But let me tell you, I truthfully tell you, لَقَدْ جَاهَرَتْكُمُ الْعِبَارِ. That all the warnings that had to come your way have come your way and have shown themselves to you and exposed themselves to you, right? Or exposed you to themselves. We have in one of the other khutbahs of Nahjul Balagha, we have this a similar word, similar concept. And he says this a couple times in Nahjul Balagha, that مَا الدُّنْيَا غَرَّتْكَ. Look, the dunya didn't fool you. O person who has been fooled. مَا الدُّنْيَا غَرَّتْكَ وَلَكِنْ بِهَا اغْتَرَرْتَ. As a matter of fact, what happened was that the dunya didn't actively fool you. You were fooled through the dunya. The dunya is just sitting there. You looked at it in a certain way and you were fooled as a result. What did the poor dunya do? The dunya actually showed you everything. All of your forefathers under the ground. All of the zalimeen under the ground. All of the zalimeen, no one even cares about them anymore. Who cares about Hitler anymore? Yes? Who cares about Saddam Hussein anymore? And so on and so forth. All the fara'ina of the past, the present, eventually their day will come too. Don't be one of them. Yes? The dunya showed you these things, showed you its true colors, right? So the Imam here says, وَبِحَقٍّ أَقُولُ لَكُمْ. Let me tell you what. لَقَدْ جَاهَرَتْكُمُ الْعِبَارِ. The warnings, the lessons, everything that you need to take away from this dunya, everything was shown to you by the dunya. Yes? This is where I want to share some of these hadiths and verses with you. وَإِنَّكُمْ, for example, this verse, Surah Safat, verses 137, 138. وَإِنَّكُمْ لَتَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهِمْ مُصْبِحِينَ. That, O people, you are passing by the remains of those who came before you. Now it's interesting. For us, we will, drive to work every day. We see a couple buildings, and so on and so forth. Well, that's before we were locked in this quarantine. But anyway, so we drive to work. We see things that, we see buildings, we see scenery, and so on and so forth. But apparently back in the day, the Quran mentions this. It says, وَإِنَّكُمْ لَتَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهِمْ مُصْبِحِينَ. In the morning when you get up, and it's kind of as if they are going to work, the people of the Prophet's time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are passing by the remains of these people, the remains of their kingdoms and so on. As you're going to the fields, as you're going to the desert, wherever it is that you're doing work. Back then people had to shovel, not like today where people just type behind screens, for work. وَبِاللَّيْلِ. So in the morning, وَبِاللَّيْلِ, and also at the nighttime. Apparently what it means is when you're coming back home from work, you see them again. You see that whatever has remained of them. And it's not much. Who cares about these people anymore, right? The Hitlers and the Saddam Husseins and so on. Yeah, of course there'll be some who like them still, right? There's still big fans of Saddam Hussein out there, of course. But you get what the point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make is that the way that they thought they were gods and stuff, no one looks at them like that anymore. Hardly anyone looks at them like they're gone. Even if the whole world was to still look at them as gods, where are they? They've disintegrated under the ground. That's the point. إِنَّكُمْ لَتَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهِمْ مُصْبِحِينَ وَبِاللَّيْلِ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Or other verses. Now these verses that I'm going to share with you here, this one's one of my favorites. It says, كَمْ تَرَكُوا مِنْ جَنَّاتٍ وَعُيُونٍ وَزُرُوعٍ وَمَقَامٍ كَرِيمٍ وَنَعْمَةٍ كَانُوا فِيهَا فَاكِهِينَ كَذَلِكَ وَأَوْرَثْنَاهَا قَوْمًا آخَرِينَ. That look at these people. What did they leave behind? How many orchards and springs of water that they might have discovered, and harvest and noble ranks they left behind that they had. Yes. And blessings they were in, and they were enjoying all of that. But what happened in the end? أَوْرَثْنَاهَا قَوْمًا آخَرِينَ. They all died. Someone else inherited from them whatever they had before. فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَا كَانُوا مُنْذَرِينَ. Neither the sky wept over them after they died and left this dunya, neither the earth cried over them. In other words, no one cared about them after that. وَمَا كَانُوا مُنْذَرِينَ. We do have some hadith, if I remember correctly, that say when a mu'min dies, the sky and the earth weep over that mu'min. But these people weren't mu'min, and so when they died, no one cared, not even the heavens and the earth, the skies wept over them. These were verses, Surah Dukhan, verses 25 to 29. All right? So when the Imam says it showed you everything, yes, it showed you these things, and you're seeing these things all the time. O people, how can you be arrogant against your Lord? Now, being arrogant against the Lord has different grades. One person will be arrogant in the sense of turning away from the faith itself and not embracing it. Another will be arrogant in the sense of embracing the faith but not listening to God and sinning and disobeying. All right. So it showed you everything. وَزُجِرْتُمْ بِمَا فِيهِ مُزْدَجَرٍ. And you've also been warned with all those things that you can find warning in. Whether it's looking around you and seeing what has happened to those before you, or whether it's a prophet or an imam or a righteous person even speaking to you and telling you, warning you of the akhirah, that you should change your ways and so on. Yes, the Quran said, so here the Imam, he says muzdajar, right? وَزُجِرْتُمْ بِمَا فِيهِ مُزْدَجَرْ. That which has warning in it. Okay, now, we have a verse that uses the same word. وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُمْ مِنَ الْأَنْبَاءِ مَا فِيهِ مُزْدَجَرْ. That which of the news of those who came before you, yes, that which of that news that has warning in it has come to you, O people, the people of the past. What has befallen them. So you don't have any excuse either. So you want to see everything that those who died saw or see? You don't have to be a righteous individual. You don't have to obey Allah. That's not a condition. Why? Because whatever that was necessary to warn you has been sent to you. What else do you want? And this is why he ends like this, the Imam. He says, وَمَا يُبَلِّغُ عَنِ اللَّهِ بَعْدَ رُسُلِ السَّمَاءِ إِلَّا الْبَشَرِ. And look, you have those messengers of the sky, of the heavens, which are the angels, right? He says, who is going to bring a message to you after the angels except those who are human beings? In other words, prophets. Let me explain what he means by this line. So once again, what did he say? If I'm going to translate this verbatim, he's saying that who out there is going to bring the message of God? Who out there of the messengers is going to bring the message of God to you after the messengers of the heavens, except the messengers of mankind? In other words, if I want to simplify it more, right? There's two types of messengers that can bring you a message. One is the angels, and two is human beings that are prophets. So the Imam says, after the angels, who else except messengers of mankind are going to bring you the message of God? What is he trying to say here? He's trying to say that, look, don't wait for anything else to happen. Don't wait for the messengers of the heavens to come down and bring you a message from God. Who's next in line after the messengers of God that are in the heavens, which are the angels? Who's next in line? The messengers of mankind, which are the prophets. In other words, don't wait for angels, they're not coming. This is all you're going to get. Why? We kind of alluded to it in the beginning, but I want to talk about it here as well. And for that, we're going to get help from this verse. لو ما تأتينا بالملائكة إن كنت من الصادقين. That during the Prophet's time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it says that they would tell the Holy Prophet, why don't you bring the angels so that, bring them down for us. Let us see them if you're telling the truth. Okay? This is our condition. Bring the angels. The Quran answers them. It says, مَا نُنَزِّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةَ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. That we only send the angels with haqq. Now, haqq here, yes, has to do with takween. Yes? For example, let me explain what I mean. The Quran also says, death comes, وَجَاءَتْ سَكْرَةُ الْمَوْتِ بِالْحَقِّ. That the intoxication of death comes, and why it's called intoxication is a different story I don't want to get into. The intoxication of death comes, when it comes with truth only, because that with which it comes has to do with other things of the afterlife, the barzakh onwards. Dunya is a place for truth and falsehood and a mix of them. But after that, everything is in Allah's hands. And since everything is in Allah's hands, it's all haqq and truth. Here, it says, when we send the angels down, they come down with haqq. That means God's business. They're going to take care of some takweeni issues. And that which applies to you, O people who are rejecting the Holy Prophet ﷺ, when you are convinced that he is the Prophet, that of God's business that only pertains to you now is adab and punishment. So we're doing you a favor. So it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the khutbah, that we're doing you a favor. If we send messengers that are messengers of the heavens, Those guys come down usually when they want to take care of a job that has been delegated to them by God. The only job they have right now with you is to destroy you and punish you. So it's better for you that they're not coming down and we're sending you a messenger of your own kind. Right? With that will come less accountability and more respite, more of a chance for you to embrace the faith. Yes. لو ما تأتينا بالملائكة إن كنت من الصادقين. No, no, no. ما ننزل الملائكة إلا بالحق وما كانوا إذا منذرين. Surah Hijr, verses 7 and 8. Yeah, this is very beautiful actually. Yes, brothers and sisters. In this khutbah, so Imam Ali alayhi salam, it was a wake-up call for his people. He has now taken Khilafah, and he wants to make sure that people do what they're supposed to do and obey the one they're supposed to obey, either because they believe in him as their first Imam or as their fourth Khalifa. One of the two at the end of the day has to be, both are binding. In both cases, it is binding on them to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so he is now reminding them of death, that you're going to see certain things and then it's going to be too late. Now is the time. But don't be all fixated on seeing certain things and having some magical stuff happen, because that which was needed for you to take heed has been delivered to you of the message. And the warnings have been transferred and relayed to you. And so as a result, there is no excuse for you. So you better get up off your backs now. Embrace what you need to embrace and live up to what you need to live up to of obeying your fourth Khalifa or your first Imam, or else you're going to be in trouble as well. Now this was for the people of his time, and to a lesser extent for us today as well, it still applies. Because they saw the Prophet, they saw Amirul Mu'mineen, they saw a lot of things that we did not see. For us, we have seen the hadiths of these Imams. For us, we have seen the book of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For us, we have seen the signs around us. Yes? So for us also, the same exact wording that the Imam used for them holds for us as well. Yes, there will be a little bit more flexibility, it seems, for us, because we have never seen the Prophet. We have never seen the Khulafa or the Imams. Yes, for those who look up to the Khulafa as religious figures. For us, the Shia school of thought, the Imams, for example, we haven't seen those directly, those individuals. And so for us, there will be accountability, but also more flexibility as well. But in the end, as I said, all of this applies to us and holds for us as well. Inshallah, Allah gives us tawfiq to live up to the expectation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Ahlul Bayt alayhi wassalatu wassalam. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And so for tomorrow night, I'm just going to say the schedule for Moment Center. We have Mulana Jafar from Toronto. He'll be delivering something in English, a lecture in English. I forgot the title of it. And then Saturday, we'll have our extensive Islamic studies class again. And please just, the emails are coming and notifications are coming in the WhatsApp groups that we have for Moment. And I do know that we will have a lot more lectures and programs coming up as well. So stay updated, inshallah, through one of these channels. And with that, I will hand the mic over to Brother Bakr, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah. Thank you. So just a quick reminder, tomorrow night we will be joined by Shaykh Jafar, as Shaykh Amin mentioned. He'll be joining us live from Toronto, and he will be speaking on the topic of coping with stress in a stressful time. So please join us at 9. The program will start with recitation of Quran, then followed by Manqabat by renowned reciter Ali Yazda Rizvi from Karachi. And then we will have Shaykh Jafar deliver his lecture at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Thank you everyone who joined in today. Assalamu alaikum. Khuda Hafiz.